This story begins deep in the wild. A lion cub's desperate cry cuts through the savannah air, echoing like a call for help no one can ignore. The sound trembles between acacia shadows, thin and frightened. You're driving a dusty path in the dwindling light when it pierces the stillness, raw, urgent, alive. Instinct makes you hit the brakes. In this unforgiving land, survival is never guaranteed. Lions rule here, but even kings can fall to the traps of nature. So before we dive in, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy these emotional stories. Comment below your favorite animal. And now, let's return to the cry that changed everything. You lean out the window. The savannah, gold and endless, feels suddenly watchful. Wind brushes dry grass, whispering warnings. And then, movement. A massive shape steps from behind a thorn bush. A full-grown male lion, mane matted with dust and worry. He isn't roaring to threaten you. He's pacing, glancing toward your vehicle, then away, like he's trying to say something. Your heart hammers. Every instinct screams to stay inside the car, yet the lion doesn't advance. Instead, he stops square in the road, chest heaving, amber eyes meeting yours. There's something unnatural in his stillness, a tension filled not with aggression, but with fear. Behind him you hear it again, the distant wail of the cub, weaker this time, buried somewhere beyond the tall grass. You realize the truth. The father isn't warning you away. He's asking for help. Far out on the plain, thunder grumbles, a storm building fast. In the wild, every second counts. If the cub is trapped and night falls before you act, hyenas will smell distress long before dawn. The pride will return soon, drawn by the cry. And when they do, you might not have another chance. You reach for your flashlight and step out. The lion's gaze follows, but he doesn't move. His tail swishes once, slow, deliberate. He turns, glancing toward the distant sound again, then back at you, a silent guide leading you into the unknown. The savannah wind sharpens. The scent of rain, dust, and fear mingle in the air. Each step crunches against dry earth, the echo of the cub's cries growing louder, closer, more desperate. You can feel the story pulling you deeper into its heart, where instinct, courage, and trust will soon be tested. But somewhere in that grass, something else moves too, unseen, waiting. But in the tall grass, something stirred. The lion moves before you can take another step. A sudden thudding presence fills the night air. His massive paws press into the dust, and he stands broadside to your car, cutting off your way forward. The message is unmistakable. You're not leaving, not yet. He growls low, a rumble that vibrates through the ground, but there's no threat in it. His eyes flicker between you and the dark plain beyond. He's torn between instinct and desperation, a father facing a problem no lion was ever meant to solve alone. You realize that this isn't about dominance. It's about trust. You hold still, careful not to raise your arms too fast. The beam of your flashlight trembles slightly in your grip. The lion watches it, ears flicking forward, pupils wide. You slowly angle the light toward the sound of the cub's cry again, a faint, pitiful echo carried by the wind. The lion's head snaps toward it, then back at you. He grunts, short, sharp, commanding. That's when you understand he's not stopping you. He's guiding you. You edge around the front of the car, step by step. The lion follows parallel, keeping close enough that you can hear his breathing. It's ragged, filled with urgency. Every few seconds, he glances toward the distant sound and lets out a muffled roar, deep and mournful. Each one is answered barely by the cub. Lightning flickers somewhere far off, a warning stripe across the horizon. The air smells like iron and rain. A rumble rolls through the clouds, and the lion growls back, defiant. You push through the grass, heart pounding, until you reach the edge of a shallow ridge. The lion stops beside you and looks down. There, half hidden by dust and rock, gapes a pit, deep, uneven, with the scent of damp soil rising from within. You shine your light downward. The beam finds two wide golden eyes staring up. The cub, tiny and trembling, struggles to climb the crumbling wall. Each attempt sends a spray of dirt tumbling back over its head. The hole looks freshly eroded, a trap carved by last week's rain, its sides too slick for claws. The father lets out a long, guttural moan. He paces the edge, roaring softly as if encouraging his cub, then turning to you in a final, wordless plea. The situation is clear now. The cub is alive, but time is vanishing. The sun is sinking fast, and the storm clouds are swelling. Hyenas will come with the night. If you fail, the savannah will not forgive. You take a deep breath, step closer to the edge, and assess the depth. 10 feet, maybe more. Too steep to reach by hand. You'll need rope and courage. Behind you, the lion growls again, lower, anxious. He senses something in the air that you don't. But somewhere behind the ridge, another roar answers. Your beam steadies as you crouch beside the pit. The smell of damp clay and fur drifts upward, sharp, metallic, and alive with fear. You sweep the light in slow circles, searching for safe footing, but the earth is soft and ready to give. The cub lets out a hoarse, rasping cry. It's exhausted, small paws scraping at the slope, then sliding back down in defeat. The father lion watches from behind you, tail flicking in restless arcs. He growls softly, the sound deep and vibrating through your chest like thunder under the skin. He wants to leap in, to save his cub himself, but he knows he can't. His body trembles with frustration. You've never seen a wild creature look so human. You whisper softly, half to calm yourself, half to reassure the cub. Easy now, we'll get you out. The cub's ears twitch, its eyes catching the light, wide, frightened, but still aware. It lets out a small, broken sound that feels like hope trying to breathe. You move quickly back to your truck, grabbing a coil of rope, a steel hook, and the old canvas tarp from the back seat. The storm wind is stronger now, pushing dust across the plain. When you glance up, the horizon has vanished into bruised clouds. Returning to the pit, you test the rope against a sturdy root. It holds for now. You know you can't climb in. One slip and you'll both be trapped. You'll have to improvise. You tie a crude loop, lowering it slowly into the pit. The cub watches, confused. It sniffs at the rope, then backs away, frightened by the movement. You try again, gentler this time, rocking the rope like a game, coaxing it closer. The cub steps forward, trembling. Behind you, the father growls again, not at you, but at the dark edges of the grass. His head jerks left. You freeze. The sound of your own heartbeat fills your ears. Then silence. Nothing but the low whisper of the coming storm. You lower the rope another few feet, nearly touching the cub now. It reaches a paw toward it, a fragile moment of trust, when a sudden vibration shivers through the ground. You stagger, gripping the edge. The earth moans, shifting under the weight of water building somewhere deep below. A piece of the rim breaks away and drops into the pit with a dull thud. The cub flinches, pressed against the far wall. Dust fills the air. You cough, wiping grit from your eyes. The father roars now, a sound of rising panic. His eyes blaze with firelight from the distant lightning, his chest expanding with each desperate call. You shout back over the wind, "Hold on! I've got him!" The cub whimpers again, weaker, softer. You can feel the storm's edge sweep closer, smell the ozone crackling through the air. You've bought yourself minutes, maybe less, before the rain turns that pit into a grave. You knot the rope tighter, brace yourself, and reach again for the trembling cub. But out in the tall grass beyond the ridge, a faint shimmer of movement catches your eye, something circling, slow and deliberate. But just beyond the pit, eyes glinted in the dark. The first raindrop hits your wrist, warm, heavy, carrying the scent of iron and dust. You glance at the sky, thunderheads roll like dark oceans, swallowing what's left of the sun. The lion paces, restless, his mane tossing under the wind. He knows what's coming. In this land, rain doesn't just fall, it strikes. You kneel beside the pit again. The cub's movements are slowing, tiny ribs heaving as exhaustion drags it down. You check your watch, not for time, but for distance from safety. The nearest ranger post is at least 15 kilometers east. No one's coming tonight. It's you, the rope, and the storm. You pull your phone from your pocket, trying to catch a signal, nothing but static. The wind hisses in the grass, whispering danger in 1,000 unseen voices. You take a deep breath, steadying your hands. You remember a wildlife fact from training. Lion cubs dehydrate faster than adults, especially when trapped without shade. Every minute here counts double. The father lion circles the pit, growling low. His roars fade and return like the tide, each one heavier, more urgent. You realize he's calling for his pride, a risk that could turn fatal for you. If the others answer, you'll be surrounded long before you can explain your presence. Easy, you whisper again, though your voice trembles. You tie the rope around your waist, testing the tension. You throw the loop down, aiming for the cub's midsection. It brushes against its fur. The cub jerks, startled, then freezes, watching you with glassy, terrified eyes. The rain thickens. Mud begins to form along the rim. You tighten your grip. "Come on, little one," you murmur. "You've got to help me here." And then, a miracle. The cub reaches forward, bites the rope gently, tugging it closer as if it finally understands. You seize the moment, lowering the loop until it slides around its chest. Carefully you pull, inch by inch. The cub yelps but doesn't fight. The rope cuts into the clay, scraping and slipping, but you hold firm. The father steps closer now, dangerously near. You can feel his breath on your shoulder, hot and damp, filled with tension. He growls each time you tug but doesn't interfere, as if counting on you, even as instinct screams for him to act. The cub rises halfway up the wall, clinging, crying. You pull again, harder. Your hands burn, muscles shaking, but it's working. The cub's paws reach the edge. You whisper, "Almost there, almost." Then the rope jerks violently. The ground shifts. A stream of rainwater slides under your boots, softening the soil. You slip, catching yourself just before the rope snaps loose. The cub tumbles back halfway, dangling, whimpering. You grit your teeth and pull again. Every muscle screams. The lightning crashes close enough to paint the lion's mane white. The thunder hits right after, a wall of sound that makes the cub cry out again. You shout over the storm, "Hold on!" You dig your heels deeper, anchoring your weight against the drag of the pit. And just as the cub nears the rim again, you hear something else, faint but distinct, behind the roar of the rain. A distant, answering cry. Not from the cub, not from the father, from another lion. Ran somewhere in the dark, the pride was coming home. The storm now owns the savannah. Rain lashes sideways, driven by wind so fierce it flattens the grass in waves. You dig your boots into the mud, shoulders screaming under the rope's weight. The cub's cries are almost lost in the downpour. You can't see your own breath, only the pale shimmer of lightning that flickers across the father lion's mane. The rope slips. You curse under your breath, planting your feet wider, but the mud gives way beneath you. The cub drops again. Not far, but far enough to send a scream that rips through your chest. The father lunges forward, roaring, jaws snapping inches from your arm. You freeze. For a heartbeat, you meet his eyes, wild, desperate, pleading. He's not your enemy. He's terrified. You whisper hoarsely, "I've got him. I've got him." He stops, panting, watching. You scan the surroundings. The edge of the pit is disintegrating, clay dissolving into sludge, small rivulets pouring downward. You need something stronger. You turn and sprint to your vehicle, pulling out a length of cargo strap and a thick fallen branch from the roadside. You plant the branch across the pit like a brace, tying the strap around it and looping it to the rope's end. It's crude, but it might just hold. Back in the rain, the father lion stands guard, snarling at shadows that move beyond your headlights. The wind carries the scent of other lions, female, young, familiar, the rest of the pride returning. You can feel their presence now, unseen but near. The father senses it too. His roars deepen, echoing across the plain in warning. You work faster, mud splattering your hands and face. "Just a little longer," you mutter. The cub moans, eyes fluttering with exhaustion. Its tiny claws clutch the wet rope, sliding but refusing to let go. That strength, that instinct, drives you harder. You brace against the branch, using your full body weight, pulling hand over hand. The rope tightens, groans, and then movement. The cub rises again, slowly, clumsily. Its front paws grip the edge, claws sinking into the dirt. You haul harder, the muscles in your arms screaming. The cub's paw slips once, twice, but then it catches. And then, just as it seems you've won, something brushes your ankle. You whirl, flashlight sweeping. Two glowing eyes stare back from the grass, low, cold, patient. Hyena, your blood runs cold. It's not alone. The laughter comes next, that eerie, chattering sound that curdles your stomach. The pack's been watching, waiting for the storm to drive the lions apart. The father lion roars, spinning to face the threat. Lightning ignites his silhouette, muscles rippling under the rain. He charges, vanishing into the grass with a bellow that shakes your bones. The sounds that follow are brutal, a clash of teeth, snarls, shrieks. The cub cries again, sensing its father's rage. You yank the rope one last time, shouting through the thunder, "Come on!" The cub scrambles, slipping and clawing until finally, blessedly, its paw finds the solid ground. It tumbles forward, collapsing near your boots, soaked and trembling. You fall to your knees beside it, shielding it from the rain. The cub presses against you, its tiny body shaking. You've done it for now. But across the plain, the battle hasn't stopped, and neither has the movement in the grass. Because beyond the lightning, something larger was closing in. For a moment, all you can hear is the rain, relentless, roaring against the earth as though the sky itself is trying to erase what just happened. You kneel beside the cub, its frail body pressed against your leg for warmth. Its eyes flicker open, cloudy and tired. You can see the pulse in its tiny neck, weak but steady. It's alive. You wipe the water from your face and glance toward the grass where the father vanished. Flashes of lightning still silhouette his fight. Quick, violent bursts of movement, the echo of snarls and bone-deep roars. Then silence, the kind that tightens your chest. You call out softly, "Come on, big guy." Come back, no response. Only the low hiss of the rain and the cub's faint breathing. You wrap it gently in your tarp, tucking the fabric close around its trembling body. A fresh wave of thunder rolls across the plain, and you feel the vibration in your bones. You take a moment to recap in your mind, to find the thread of what's happened. You found the cub trapped and fading. You fought time, weather, and instinct. You pulled it from the earth's grip. But now, the storm has turned the savannah into a labyrinth of danger. The father is gone, and the pride, his pride, is coming. You check your radio again, static, just static. You tap it twice, the crackle teasing you with fragments of sound. Then faintly a voice, "Bass, do you copy?" But it dissolves into silence before you can answer. The storm has stolen communication, leaving you alone with the cub and the ghosts of thunder. You cradle the small lion against your chest. It shivers once, then sighs, a small, almost human sound of trust. In the beam of your flashlight, you study it closer. The paw pads are raw, the fur scraped, a small cut above one eye. You remember reading once that lion cubs have scent glands that help their parents recognize them, even through mud and blood. The father will find this cub again, if he's still alive. A shadow flickers in the distance. You freeze. Through the curtain of rain, shapes begin to form, low, sleek, moving with purpose. At first, you think it's the hyenas returning. But then one lifts its head. The mane is smaller, the stride lighter. A lioness. Your stomach tightens. The pride. You know enough about lion behavior to understand what that means. Lionesses defend their cubs fiercely, but they also attack strangers, even those carrying unfamiliar scents. The father might have kept you safe, but the others won't understand your presence or why their cub smells of you. You turn off the flashlight, lowering your profile. The cub stirs, letting out a faint mewl. You hush it softly, whispering, "Not yet, not yet, little one." The shapes pause in the grass, sniffing. You can hear their deep rolling breaths, the rumble of curiosity and warning mixed together. The storm seems to fade in comparison to the sound of lions all around you. You back slowly toward your vehicle, one arm holding the cub tight. The rain lightens just enough for the world to reappear, blurred but visible. Paw prints, fresh, curve around your car, large and many. They weren't there before. You glance to your left. In the shimmer of the rain, a dark shape rises from the grass. The father lion. Blood streaks his mane, but his eyes burn bright and focused. He's alive. Relief surges through you, but it lasts only a second. Because behind him, through the swaying grass, 3 more pairs of eyes gleam. And when the lightning flashed again, the pride had returned. The storm begins to ease, but the danger doesn't. The thunder rolls further away now, softer, like the growl of something that's fed but not finished. You can finally hear beyond the rain the sound of paws moving through the grass, slow, purposeful, surrounding. You pull the cub closer, wrapping it tighter in your tarp. Its heartbeat flutters against your chest, a fragile drum of life. Then a low rumble fills the air. Not from the father lion, this one is deeper, colder. The matriarch has arrived. Through the shifting blades of grass, she emerges, massive, scarred, her amber eyes glinting with intelligence and authority. Each movement is deliberate, silent, a ghost of power made flesh. She stops only a few meters away, water streaming down her muzzle. Her gaze locks on you first, then on the bundle in your arms. The father lion limps into view, his mane matted with blood and rain. He doesn't challenge her. Instead, he growls low, pacing between you and the matriarch, tail whipping with agitation. He's caught between duty and instinct. You can sense it, the silent conversation between them. The question of whether you're a threat or a savior. You keep your movements small. Your voice barely carries above the wind. He's alive, you whisper. He's okay. The matriarch's head tilts. Her eyes flicker to the cub again. The father grunts, almost pleading. Then a third lioness appears behind her, younger, leaner. She sniffs the air, then utters a soft, confused call. The cub stirs at the sound. Its small head rises weakly from the tarp, a faint cry escaping its throat, a single broken note that cuts through the storm's retreating echo. Everything freezes. The lioness's ears swivel forward. The matriarch steps closer. Her expression changes, not anger now, but recognition. She knows that voice. Her muscles soften, the hard lines of her shoulders easing, as instinct overtakes suspicion. You kneel slowly, lowering the cub to the ground. It gives another weak mewl, paws fumbling as it tries to stand. The father moves instantly, but he doesn't rush in. He waits. You can feel the weight of that trust, fragile and ancient. Go on, you whisper. The cub stumbles forward, totters, then collapses halfway. The matriarch lowers her head, sniffs the cub, and lets out a deep rumbling sound, a sound that vibrates through the very earth. It's not a growl. It's a greeting. The father steps forward, nudging the cub gently with his muzzle. You back away slowly, heart pounding. You've done it. They're together again. But then, as lightning flickers one last time across the plain, you see something that chills you to the bone. Beyond the family reunion in the distance, the grass moves once more, this time not by lion or wind, but by the slinking forms of returning scavengers. The hyenas haven't given up. They're gathering again, waiting for the storm to clear and the lions to weaken. The father senses it too. His head snaps up, mane bristling. He roars, a thunderclap of defiance that rolls across the plain. The cub flinches but presses closer to him. The lionesses spread out, forming a loose semicircle, a living wall between their young and the approaching danger. The air tightens again. The fight isn't over, not yet, and as the moon broke through the clouds, the hunters became the hunted once more. The storm's retreat leaves behind a world carved in silver and shadow. The moon breaks through torn clouds, lighting the soaked savannah in ghostly hues. Steam rises from the ground. You stand frozen beside your car, watching as the lions regroup, a living fortress around the cub you just saved. But the peace lasts only seconds. A shriek tears the night, a hyena's mocking call. Then another answers, closer, hungrier. The pack is circling again. You can hear their padded steps, the crunch of bone underfoot, the low giggle that means they're closing in. The father lion roars, a booming declaration of dominance that rattles your bones. The matriarch joins him, her growl deep and guttural. Together, they face the dark. Their silhouettes flash under the moonlight, predators defending what matters most. You take a cautious step backward, ready to retreat to the truck, when the ground shifts beneath your feet. The soaked clay, already weakened by rain, cracks with a sickening sound. The edge of the pit, what's left of it, crumbles beneath you. You throw your weight back instinctively, but it's too late. You fall halfway in, catching yourself with one arm on the slippery edge. The rope you'd tied earlier dangles beside you, useless now, heavy with mud. Pain jolts through your shoulder as your boots kick for purchase. You can hear the cub's faint cries behind you, the father's roars rising in a chorus of warning. You grit your teeth and pull, but the soil gives way in clumps. Mud fills your nails, slides down your sleeves, burns in the scrape of raw skin. The edge moans beneath your weight. You try again, harder, your breath short, chest tightening. The lions hear you struggling. The father spins, torn between you and the encroaching hyenas. His eyes meet yours, a flash of recognition. For a terrifying second you think he might abandon you, that instinct will win over memory. But then he steps forward, letting out a roar that stops the scavengers cold. The hyenas hesitate, fanning out, cackling nervously. The lionesses crouch low, tails twitching. One lunges, sending a spray of mud and blood into the night. The clash begins, fur, teeth, and fury. You feel the vibrations through the earth as the battle erupts. You pull again, this time using the rope as leverage. Your muscles scream, the branch brace creaking above you. The pit's edge caves an inch deeper, but you're free. You tumble onto solid ground, gasping, coated in mud. Lightning flashes once more on the horizon, illuminating chaos. Lions and hyenas locked in violent arcs, the cub hidden behind the matriarch's legs. You crawl toward your vehicle, adrenaline drowning out the pain. You grab the emergency flare from your dashboard, strike it once, twice, until it ignites in a burst of red light. You hold it high, waving it above your head. The glow floods the field, painting the combatants in crimson. Hyenas recoil, snarling. Fire and light, they fear both. The father seizes the opening, lunging forward with a roar that shakes the ground. His claws rake across a scavenger's flank, sending it fleeing. The others scatter, laughter fading into the dark. And then silence again, thick and heavy, broken only by panting and the distant hiss of retreating rain. You drop the flare into the mud, its ember burning low. The lions stand victorious, breathing hard, flanks rising and falling. The cub stirs and gives a soft cry. The father lowers his head, touching it gently with his muzzle. You sink to your knees, chest heaving, every nerve still alive with shock. Around you, the savannah exhales, its storm spent, its predators sated. But just as calm begins to return, you hear the groan of shifting earth behind you. The edge of the pit, heavy with rainwater, begins to slide again. And in the whisper of that collapsing soil, fate decided to test you one last time. The groan of the collapsing pit cuts through the fragile calm like a warning from the earth itself. You whirl around, mud still dripping from your clothes, and see the rim slowly giving way. The rainwater that had collected during the storm is draining fast, pulling the soft clay with it. One wrong move, and the ground beneath the lions could cave in completely. You shout over the noise, trying to draw their attention. The father lion, still standing protectively over the cub, lifts his head. His ears flick toward you, then toward the pit. He senses it too. The pride begins to shift, uneasy, paws sliding on the slick mud. The matriarch lets out a low growl, not at you, but at the treacherous ground threatening her family. You scramble back toward the vehicle, grabbing another length of strap and a spare tarp. The lions watch you, every motion measured. You move slowly, speaking softly, keeping your eyes lowered. They don't see a threat anymore, only urgency mirrored in your actions. The cub, weakened but alive, wobbles on uncertain legs. It lets out a soft cry, and the father nudges it forward. You can see the strain in his body, the battle wounds from defending his family, the exhaustion carved into every breath. Yet he still moves with purpose, guiding the cub away from the edge. The ground cracks again. A deep fissure runs through the pit's side, water hissing as it drains below. You sprint forward instinctively, waving your arms, herding the lions back, an absurd image. One human trying to warn the kings of the wild. But somehow they understand. The father roars, turning the pride away from the danger. The matriarch gathers the cub with her muzzle and carries it several meters farther from the pit before setting it down on firmer ground. You stand still, breathing hard, mud sliding down your face. The wind shifts, carrying the scent of rain-soaked earth and the faint sweetness of crushed grass. For the first time tonight, the air feels calm. The father lion looks at you one last time. His eyes, golden, fierce and knowing, hold your gaze. It's not gratitude in any human sense, but something older, deeper. A silent acknowledgement shared between two creatures who both answered the same cry. He exhales, a long, rumbling breath that sounds almost like relief. Then he turns to the cub and presses his head gently against it. The cub squeaks softly, leaning into his mane. The matriarch approaches, brushing her muzzle against his shoulder. The circle reforms, complete again. You take a slow step back toward your car, not wanting to disturb the reunion. The pride doesn't follow. They stay close together, tails flicking, ears relaxed for the first time. The father glances up once more before leading them away, their silhouettes melting into the tall, silver grass under the moonlight. You sink against your vehicle, letting exhaustion finally take over. The adrenaline fades, leaving only silence and the sound of your heartbeat. Somewhere in the distance, a single hyena laughs, soft, almost respectful, and then even that fades. You look out across the savannah. The storm has passed. The stars return, scattered and brilliant. The cub is safe. The father kept his promise. And you kept yours. But as the wind shifted and dawn began its slow return, one thought lingered. You just witnessed something no camera could ever truly capture. The moment when fear became faith. The night softens into a quiet that feels sacred. The storm clouds have broken apart, drifting west in long ribbons of violet and silver. You stand beside your vehicle, every muscle aching, clothes stiff with dried mud, heart still pounding from everything you've survived. Out across the plain, the pride moves like living mist, silent, steady and sure. You can barely see them now, only the faint shimmer of their backs as moonlight brushes over them. The cub stumbles once, then recovers, guided by the nudge of its father's great head. Their shapes merge into the horizon, swallowed by the tall grass, until they are gone. You let the silence settle in, the kind that feels alive, full of whispers, heartbeats, memories. The savannah breathes again. The air smells of wet earth, acacia sap, and renewal. The danger has passed, but its echoes remain. In the torn ground, the prints in the mud, the thin rope still hanging where it all began. You pick up the flare's charred remains and toss them aside, the smoke curling upward like a signal to no one. It strikes you then, how fragile everything here truly is. Every storm changes the landscape, every night reshapes the story. You think of that cub's cry, the father's desperate plea, and the impossible trust that bridged the space between fear and courage. Somewhere far off, a chorus of frogs begins. The wind hums through the thorn trees. Life is returning, piece by piece. You lean against the car door, exhaling. The weight of exhaustion fades into something gentler, awe, maybe gratitude. You've been part of something ancient, something primal. Not a rescue story, not really. A moment of balance, the kind the wild grants only once, to remind you that mercy isn't human alone. You take one last look toward the dark horizon. The first hint of dawn glows faintly beyond it, soft and gold. The savannah will wake soon, erasing your footprints, swallowing your scent, keeping only the memory of what happened tonight. And in that hush you hear it, faint but clear, the low, distant roar of the father lion. Not of warning this time, but of triumph. You smile, knowing he's telling the plains, his cub lives. His family endures. The air cools, brushing against your skin. You close your eyes and let the calm sink in. The crisis has ended and peace has returned. The savannah sleeps again, its rhythm restored, its story complete. The danger has passed, peace has returned, and the wild breathes as one beneath the coming dawn. The storm has passed, leaving the savannah washed clean and glistening beneath a pale sunrise. The air is cool now, filled with the quiet hum of life returning. Insects stirring, birds calling, the wind sighing through wet grass. You stand beside the pit, no longer a place of danger, but a silent witness to what just unfolded. In the distance, the lion pride moves steadily through the mist. The cub walks close to its father's side, tiny paws pressing fresh prints into the soft earth. The father pauses once, turning back toward you, his golden eyes calm, unreadable, and for a moment, the space between man and beast feels smaller than ever. You exhale slowly, the tension finally leaving your body. The world feels vast again, but kind. You've seen what trust looks like when words don't exist, what courage means when instinct overrides fear. The savannah exhales, breathing peace into every corner of its wild heart. The light warms your face, and the sounds of dawn rise like a promise that life against all odds always finds its way back. The danger has passed. Peace has returned. The savannah rests once more,